Good morning. This is the ancient Texan. I want to talk a little bit about alternatives to growth and what it means socially and what it means for our communities. We've got an economic model in this country that depends on growth. The economy grows, the amount of money we're making grows, and it's constantly expanding, which also means it's constantly increasing the amount of consumption that's going on. It's not a hard tie. You can be more efficient with what you're doing and avoid this a little bit, but it still comes down to economic growth means more consumption. In most cases, it means more CO2. Although, if you get your energy from other sources, that's not a hard tie either. But growth in general has to be done some form or fashion with more consumption. It turns out that growth in the U.S. is probably going to be 2% or less for the foreseeable future. One of the big reasons is that baby boomers like myself, the ancient Texan, most of us are retiring. That's not me, but a lot of us are retiring. And, you could feel that, but you've got to drastically, you can feel the gap there by several things. You can drastically increase the amount of immigrants coming in. That's not a real big popular item. That's probably not going to happen. Everybody can work 6 days a week instead of 7. You can get more of the workforce involved. We can work 10 years longer before we retire, which is probably going to be me. But realistically, none of those are going to happen to any great extent. Probably people working longer is the most likely, but they're just not going to be enough people in the United States, new workers, to expand growth. So what does that mean? It means your life is always just like it is and can't improve? Well, there's also a constant redistribution. The last couple of decades, that redistribution has been to the people on top of the food chains, the oligarchs and the very rich. I'm actually not seeing that change. The Republicans in particular, and the people that support the Republicans, want to reserve the right someday when they're rich not to be taxed heavily. I guess that's one way to look at it. I personally think we're taking too good a care of the Warren Buffetts of the world, even though I like the guy and I like Bill Gates. I like a lot of the rich people. And a lot of them do a lot of good stuff for this country, so they get a bad rap that way. But they also get all the tax breaks. And I'm even for a lower corporate tax rate to bring more industry into the U.S. And AI and robots are going to fill some of the labor gap. It's just a lot of us baby boomers are moving out of the market. So there's another side to this whole thing, and it's a lifestyle issue. I've always kind of taken it for granted that I need cable. I need a house bigger than I need. Let's see right there. Well, and look at this yard. Yeah, it's nice, but all of it could be half as big as it is, and I think I'd be just about as happy. I'm considering getting rid of cable. I'd like to downsize and get rid of all my, half of my possessions or more. Problem is, getting rid of them isn't, all the crap that I've got's not so easy. It takes a dedicated effort over a long time period. And I've got debt, which is kind of counterproductive to getting rid of the things that cause me to have debt. We have become owned by our possessions in this country. My possessions own me. I don't like it. I was stupid to get here, but I bit off on a lifestyle and a way of living. We want all the good stuff, all the best phones, all the best cars, big house. Well, you can go down the list. You just turn on the TV, which is a big part of the problem, and get this idea of life that you're supposed to have, which is very artificial. And we do our communications like I am on this, but our face-to-face, heart-to-heart connection in this country, I think, has gone down the tube. Do I think we're happy from all this? Not really. I lived in Peru for a while, and they have almost nothing, and Americans go, oh, that must be terrible. But it turns out they're pretty happy people. They have a lot of social contact, neighbors coming in and out of their house. House is full of kids, grandparents. A little bit like the Hispanic lifestyle in this country that I've been exposed to some. And maybe the black communities too. Hats off to you. The whites have pretty much missed the boats. I know there's exception, but for the most part, we live lives that are a little bit too isolated, not connected enough with our friends. We've started to have a breakfast here some Saturday and Sunday mornings, and it's good having people over to sit down and talk with and get to know them. I need a lot more of it in my life, and I'm working on it one step at a time. But today I have to mow the yard that owes me. That'll be a couple hours out of my life. Is that a gift or what? Anyway, I just want you to think about growth, economic growth, both the country and yours. And think about there's another way to look at this. A sustainable world where there's still changes in relative position of people, but that we all learn to live on less stuff and do more time enjoying each other. Well, that's the Ancient Texan for today. Have a good day.